Imagine this, a game full of intense physical and mental challenges with a huge cash prize waiting for the winner. Sounds like the premise of Squid Game, right? But what if I told you something like this actually happened in real life, in South Korea back in the late 1990s? Let's explore the chilling story of Brothers Home, a competition that became a nightmare for its participants. South Korea in the late 90s was a country struggling with a financial crisis. The Asian financial meltdown hit hard, and many people found themselves facing unemployment, poverty, and an uncertain future. For many, survival was a daily challenge, and in this environment, some people were willing to take extreme measures to escape their desperate circumstances. Enter Kim Seong-chul, a man who claimed he could help. He opened Brothers Home, a facility that promised shelter, food, and the chance to get back on your feet. But there was a catch. It wasn't just a charity. It was a game that would turn the lives of its participants into a nightmare. Brothers Home attracted people who were struggling financially and desperate for a way out. They were told that if they joined, they'd have a place to stay, meals, and even the chance to earn some money. It sounded like a lifeline to those in need. What these people didn't know was that they were about to enter a situation far more dangerous than they could have ever imagined. The facility was not what it appeared. Instead of providing genuine help, it was a twisted setup where the participants were forced into cruel and grueling challenges. But unlike a reality show or a game for fun, these games weren't voluntary, and the stakes were higher than anyone could have expected. Once inside Brothers Home, the so-called participants were made to compete in a series of increasingly difficult tasks. These challenges were brutal. They involved physical strength, mental endurance, and sheer willpower. But here's the horrifying part. The ultimate goal wasn't to simply win, but to survive. The organizer, Kim Seong-chul, seemed to take inspiration from the idea of competition, but twisted it into something sadistic. People were forced to fight each other, endure harsh punishments, and humiliate themselves for the chance to win a prize. But that prize was never guaranteed. In fact, many found themselves trapped in a never-ending cycle of competition with no way out. As the games went on, things took a darker turn. The challenges became more dangerous, and the atmosphere inside Brothers Home grew increasingly toxic. Contestants were pushed to their physical and emotional limits. It became clear that the organizers' goal wasn't just to entertain, it was to break the participants down completely. Some of the events were grueling physical tests, designed to wear people down until they couldn't continue. Others were psychological, pushing people to the brink of madness. But the real horror came when people began to disappear. Some reports say that a few participants died during these competitions, but because of the lack of official oversight and investigation, the truth remains unclear. What we do know is that those who survived were left scarred, both physically and mentally. Eventually, Brothers Home was exposed for what it truly was, a horrific exploitation of desperate people. Kim Seong-chul was arrested, and the facility was shut down. But for the people involved, the damage was done. Some had lost their lives, others were left emotionally shattered, and many were left with the haunting memory of what they had experienced. The authorities never fully investigated the true extent of the abuse and manipulation that took place. The lack of oversight and the secrecy surrounding the event means that many of the details are still unclear. What we do know is that this was a real-life example of how far people can go when they're desperate, and how easy it can be for others to exploit that desperation. Looking back, it's hard not to draw parallels to Squid Game, the hit Netflix series that exploded in popularity in 2021. In both, people are put in life-threatening situations for the sake of money and survival. The series may have exaggerated the violence for dramatic effect, but the concept of desperate people being manipulated into deadly games is eerily similar to what happened at Brothers Home. The difference is that in real life, there were no cameras rolling, no scripted drama. This was a real-life horror story where the stakes weren't just for a show, but for people's lives. If you found this story disturbing, Remember that it's more than just a twisted chapter in history. It's a reminder that not everything we see or hear is as innocent as it seems. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more real-life mysteries, crime stories, and shocking tales. And always remember, sometimes the scariest stories are the ones that are all too real.